Implementation overview. For the Year 6, using visual frames to improve children's confidence and ability to access 2 to 3 mark inference questions. How we help you to set up the evaluation. The first thing we ask you to do is identify 2 similar ability classes. You then complete the pre-assessment test with all the students in both classes. And then the What Word Teachers platform will randomly allocate 1 class to the intervention and 1 class to the comparison group. The intervention will use the approach for the duration of the trial, and the comparison will continue as normal. And then both classes will complete the post-assessment test, which is the same as the pre. Then once the data is input into the What Word Teachers platform, it will generate an impact report. If the approach appears positive, then you can open this up to the comparison class. So let's break that down into a step-by-step approach to implementing the evaluation in your school. So step 1, identify 2 classes to participate in the evaluation from the same year group. Step 2, read through the inference teacher document guidance, suggested session structure, and download the resources. Step 3, complete the pre-assessment test with both classes. Record the marks in the Excel tracker located in the resource folder and input this into the pre-test on the trial wizard. As you're using class level data, we do advise that one teacher reads out the score while the other inputs this into the platform. It will help speed up the process. So moving on to step 4, using the trial wizard in the What Word Teachers platform, it will randomly assign classes to the intervention and comparison group. Step 5, for the intervention group, the teacher will use the impression evidence quote framework in guided reading sessions. The comparison group will continue with business as usual for the duration of the trial. And step 6, complete the post-assessment test, which is the same as the pre, to both the intervention and comparison group. Record the marks in the Excel tracker located in the resource folder and input this into the post-test on the trial wizard. You will then complete a short process evaluation, then click Analyze to generate an impact report for your school. So the intervention is targeted for Year 6 pupils. The intervention is delivered by a teacher as a whole class activity. Each session will take approximately 20 minutes, or to support guided reading throughout the week. In the guided reading sessions, use the visual frame with the children to help structure their responses to the inference questions. This is the impression evidence quote, and you'll find an example of the PowerPoint in the resource folder. The school that developed this approach shared their session structure, which you can see as a 5-minute reading, 5 to 10 minutes guided discussion modelling, 5 minutes model writing answer in the frame, and then 5 minutes independent practice. You also find in the resource folder a tracking spreadsheet, which allows you to link anonymized student ID to students in the classes. And finally, just some key considerations. Time is a suitable time in the lesson when this approach can be used. Teaching, can this approach be used in your weekly guided sessions that you run already? Resources, make sure you have the template available. And then will you link this to any potential rewards? So logistical barriers are often common in interventions delivered in schools, so it's just as important to consider these prior to starting the intervention. So moving on to the assessment, in the resource folder you will find an assessment task which is marked out of 15. Please record the score for each learner in the Excel tracker and then input this into the What Word Teachers platform. For the post-assessment at the end of the trial, the same assessment is used to retest and measure the impact of the intervention. Because both groups are using the same assessment, familiarity should not bias the effect. So please record the score for each learner in the Excel tracker and input this into the What Word Teachers platform. So assessment guidance, complete the assessment and the test conditions. It can be done by a teacher or teaching assistant. Print off the assessment tasks, which is the same for the pre and the post, and then make sure you record your pre and post assessment data. So that is the end of the implementation guidance. The next thing to do is to download your research protocol, your resource folder, and then start your trial wizard.